Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of the DAN Show, and welcome to my breakdown of the New Orleans Saints. Now, if you're new to my channel, I've got one simple question to ask you. Do you like football? Do you want to talk football? Because if so, you're in the right place. There's this button right around here. See it, see it, see it. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. Now, here's how my breakdown of the New Orleans Saints is going to go. I'm going to talk about what I like about the Saints. Then I'm going to talk about what I don't like about the Saints, but stick around to the very end where I break down the Vegas over-under and if I am going to put action down on the Saints. Hey, let's just get going with what I like about the Saints. The number one thing I like about the Saints is I really felt that over the last 3 years, this is the best team in the NFC. 3 years ago, when they lost to the Minneapolis Miracle, I really thought they win that game. They would beat the Eagles. Now, keep in mind, the Eagles ended up blowing out Minnesota in Philly. So there's a good chance that maybe they don't win that game. But I really thought that when I was watching that game, hey, they're going to win this game. They're going to go to Philly. They're going to be in the Super Bowl. And it didn't happen. Of course, 2 years ago, the famous no pass interference call against the Rams. Would they have beaten New England? Who's to say? Who's to not say? And then last year, it's really rare that you're a 13-3 team and have to play a wild card game. But one thing I found multiple things really interesting about the Saints here. They're third in points scored, 13th in points against. But when you look at this defense a little closer, you find out it's one of the best defensive units in football. They were 20th in yards against, but 20th in passing yards against, 4th in rushing yards, which leads me to believe that you could stop the run, but when you're ahead, what do teams usually do to try to get back in the game? They throw the ball more. So you have a team that can stop the run, and they gave up some passing yards. Keep in mind, they had 51 sacks, so it's quite a few sacks. And then also keep in mind, they were number one in the NFL in turnovers lost. They only lost 8 turnovers the whole season. When Bridgewater played his 5 starts, he was sacked 12 times. Brees, in his 11 starts, was sacked 12 times. Now, I don't remember off the top of my head if there were some offensive line issues when Bridgewater was there or not, but I'm leaning to believe this is one of the best offensive line units in football. Keep in mind, Bridgewater, in his 5 starts, he played 9 games total, only threw for 1,384 yards. So, I mean, that's if you say 1,384, I don't remember how many of those yards are just in those 5 games. It wasn't... Bottom line, if you take 1,384 divided by 5, it's about 260, just ballparking it. Bottom line, he didn't throw the ball as much as Drew Brees did. What my point is that this is a team that can run the ball, but when you have Drew Brees, you threw the ball quite a bit. He had, in those 11 starts, 270 yards passing a game, a little over, 27 touchdowns. So keep in mind, Drew Brees threw for about 3,000 yards and 27 touchdowns in 2/3 of the season. If he plays the whole season, he goes over 4,000 and 40 touchdowns. He's still one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League, but this team could also run the ball. They were 16th in rushing yards on offense, and they were 7th in passing yards. This team does throw the ball, but they're capable of running the ball, but they can stop the run, sack the quarterback, and they gave up some passing yards. But ultimately, when you look at this team, the more and more you dive into this team, the more and more I'm led to believe that this was the best team in the NFC. And you never know what happens if they get into the Super Bowl. There's a chance that just 4 or 5 plays go differently, they could be looking to go to their 4th Super Bowl in a row. I firmly believe that over the last 3 years, there's not been a team as good as the Saints. Over the last 3 years, they've won 37 games, 11-5, 13-3, 13-3. So they've been consistently the best team. And that leads me to the second thing that I really like about the Saints is that on paper, this team's actually better. In free agency, they end up picking up Malcolm Jenkins and Emmanuel Sanders. Both these guys are veterans. They are going to provide upgrades and they're going to start day one. And both these guys come from teams that have won Super Bowls, and they're going to bring veteran experience to this team. But even though this team only had 4 draft picks, 2 of them are going to start and 2 of them are going to be upgrades. Cesar Ruiz, who everybody said across the board this was the number 1 interior offensive lineman in the draft. Keep in mind the Saints gave up 24 sacks last year. It's pretty good. Now their offensive line gets better. Zack Bond, I saw a lot of mock drafts where he went late first. They get him in the 3rd round. He's going to be a starter. He's going to replace A.J. Klein. They can do a lot of different things with him. He's stout against the run and a good pass rusher. Adam Troutman, the tight end out of Dayton, could not go to a better team. This is an athletic, small school tight end who excels in pass catching. He's going to be perfect for what the Saints do. Remember, they took a basketball player. I was going to say first team, but they weren't the first. They took that Jimmy Graham, never even played football, turned him into like almost a Hall of Fame caliber player. So Troutman's going to have a world of success there in New Orleans. He's not going to start Jared Cook, as remember, he got kind of banged up, and so now you have another weapon, a guy who's eventually going to be a starter. And then 7th round pick, Tommy Stevens. This is interesting because they traded back in the 7th round to get this kid. I heard that most teams want him to play tight end, even though he played quarterback at Mississippi State. Is he a Taysom Hill type of player? The answer is yes, so you get another one. But I've heard that even though he's still listed as a quarterback, more than likely he's going to end up playing tight end. So that's kind of interesting. So, I mean, I could go in detail about how much I like Drew Brees and how much I like Michael Thomas and all that stuff. But bottom line, this is the best team in the NFC, bar none. And I think they're better this year. This is a 13-3 team that I thought was the best team in the NFC last year. Now they are better on paper than they were last year. So that's basically the whole recap of what I like about the Saints. This is the best team in the NFC last year, and they are better this year. So let's talk about what I don't like about the New Orleans Saints. There's not much not to like about the Saints, but it comes down to there's really only one thing about the Saints I'm going to say I don't like, and I could split this up into 2 separate things, but throughout the course of NFL history, there's a lot of teams that almost make it. There's a lot of teams that almost come through, but they just don't get a chance to win a Super Bowl. It was kind of funny. I was thinking about Air Coryell football. The Chargers in the late 70s, early 80s, they had 3 years where they were maybe the most exciting team in football, never went to a Super Bowl. Dallas Cowboys, if I remember correctly, 79, 80, 81, went to NFC Championship games, never went to a Super Bowl. Andy Reid's Eagles, when they signed T.O., they went to the NFC Championship games 3 straight years, lost, signed Terrell Owens, lost in the Super Bowl. Instead of going back, the team just completely fell apart. Lots of times you can get to the playoffs and that's it. Now, keep in mind, Sean Payton, Drew Brees did win a Super Bowl, so it can be done. But I mentioned this as something I like, but Malcolm Jenkins and Emmanuel Sanders 33, Malcolm Jenkins turns 33 in December. The window for this team is short, all right? Drew Brees is 40. Janoris Jenkins, 32 in October. Kiko Alonso, he's going to be 30 when the season starts. Jared Cook's 33. Cam Jordan's 31. Demario Davis, 32 in January. They signed Nigel Bradham, who may be the starter at inside linebacker. Kiko Alonso's on the PUP list. He's 31 when the season starts. So these are key. I just named 9 veterans that are over 30 that have key roles. You're not going to bring all these guys back for 2021. Drew Brees is 40. Now, unlike Tom Brady and Phillip Rivers, where there was decline, I didn't see any decline in Brees. He did miss 5 games due to injury, but Patrick Mahomes missed a couple games due to injury. And I I still think Drew Brees is one of the top quarterbacks in football, period. This offense is better with him on the field. This is a good football team. It's just a team that signed veterans. This team is literally Super Bowl or bust, because out of those 9 veterans that I named off, several of them are not going to be back in 2021. How many years does Drew Brees have? How many does he have? Is he playing till 50? I mean, I'll be honest, he's playing at such a high level. It wouldn't surprise me if Brees played for another 4 years. How many years is he going to play in New Orleans? I mean, sooner or later, you're going to hit the wall. And after 3 great seasons with 3 really weird ending, the Minneapolis Miracle, the no pass interference call, a 13-3 team that played a wild card game, and bottom line, they just didn't show up. I mean, I watched Saints several times in 2019, and I'm telling you, that playoff game was the worst I ever seen them play. And they had a few games where they just didn't show up. This was a great football team. Then all of a sudden you'd lay an egg. Another thing to think about, they weren't as good as the San Francisco 49ers. Remember, they played San Francisco. They win that game in New Orleans. They're a 14-2 team, get number 1 seed. Maybe things are different. So there's only one thing I don't like about the Saints, and that Father Time's undefeated. This is a great football team, and they went all in. When you signed Emmanuel Sanders and Malcolm Jenkins, you're going all in for 2020. It's Super Bowl or bust. You're not building toward the future. You had 4 draft picks. Now, 2 of them are going to be starters. One's going to have a really integral piece, and the other one's going to be interesting. If this was preseason, I'd want to watch them play. I want to see how they use them, but it'll be interesting to see how he fits with the Saints. And I know I'm making this video really short, but bottom line, I think the Saints are probably my team that I would pick to go to the Super Bowl as of right now. And things may change. And as the season comes forward, I'm going to keep track of the players that are sitting out, of any free agent signings, trades, anything like that. I'll have that updated as the season comes on. But as far as the Saints are concerned, this is an easy video. I think that they're the best team in the NFC. I thought they were the best team in the NFC the last 3 years. I think they're better in 2020 than they were in 2019. But they signed aging veterans, so they're kind of going all in. That's just all it is. What I say, hang out to the very end. I break down the Vegas over-under, and if I'm putting action down on the Saints, the Vegas over-under is 10.5. Both the over and the under are the same exact thing. It's -110, which means that you have to wager $110 to win 100. And to me, this is a no-brainer. You take the over. This is a 13-win team that got better. How safe do I feel to take the Saints in 11? The schedule's tough. Okay, the schedule is tough, but I think that they're the best team in the division. I really do. I mean, I don't see 5 losses on the schedule. I really don't. Let's say you split with the Falcons, you lose Kansas City, which is a home game. That's going to be a fun one. December 20th, it's week 15. That's a good one. I mean, at Philly, that's a tough one. At Chicago, I think they can win. I don't see 5 losses. I think this is a safe bet, but I got bonus coverage for you because you watched this video. Right now, it's -115 to win the division. So you have to wager $115 to win 100. I think that's a very safe bet. I think that they will win the NFC South. Currently, probably my favorites to win the NFC. And this could be subject to change, but right now, I would have to say the Saints are my favorite to win the NFC. I think they're the best team in the NFC, but I think they've been the best team the last couple of years, and they've had weird things happen. Would I take them to win over 10.5? Absolutely. But keep in mind, more and more players are sitting out. I'll update this as I go along. So I will keep everybody informed of what's going on. So listen, I hope you liked the video. Give me a thumbs up. Tomorrow, I'm going to break down the team that beat them in the playoffs, the Minnesota Vikings. So, hey, enjoy the video. Share with your friends. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. I'm doing the Vikings tomorrow. So, hey, have a great night. I will see you tomorrow.